Welcome back to Local 5 Live. Whatever the size of your estate, it pays to plan in advance.
Attorneys Justin Randall and Colin Metelka are here from Hooper Law Office with some important reminders. Good morning to both of you guys.
Good morning.
Okay, tell us about some of the misconceptions you see in your practice when it comes to planning for, retirement and family planning.
Yeah, I think one of the most common misconceptions we see is really like what certain estate planning documents do or how they work. So when people are talking about wills, for example, they often think, well, if I have a will, that means I don't have to go through the probate process. Okay. But what wills specifically are is a list of instructions to the probate court of who you want in charge, where you want things to go. It's a list to that court of these are the rules to follow. Okay. So having a will means you're intending to go through probate. So that's probably the biggest misconception. Another misconception we have a lot is just that powers of attorney, while active during lifetime, extend beyond death as well. A lot of times a family member who's a power of attorney agent will think, oh, I can keep acting after mom or dad's passed. And that's not the case. Those end at death.
Okay. Fascinating. How can a trust benefit somebody with, let's say, a more modest estate? Sometimes we think of it being these, elaborate mansions and acres of land, but that doesn't have to be true.
Yeah, so people that want to have that good planning in place that you can have with a will, but might also want to avoid the probate process, a trust is a great plan to do that. Some people try to avoid the probate process by maybe using beneficiary designations and payable upon death types of things on accounts. But those don't really take into account any sort of planning, any sort of administrative process. So if you're looking to avoid the probate process but want that good planning still, a trust would be a good tool.
So other than distribution of money or property, are there any other great reasons to make sure that you have a plan?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things is just if you have a legacy that you want to leave behind, and not just necessarily a monetary legacy, but sort of incentivizing the next generation to do certain things. Maybe you're very charitably inclined and you want them to continue that and have that incentive as well. But another really good reason to do planning, speaking of powers of attorney, is making sure that you have things in place while you're alive too that allow somebody to step in for you, make decisions. So without those powers of attorney, you could have the best will or trust in the world, but you don't have what you need right now.
And a reminder, this isn't usually a one and done sort of thing. How should people stay up to date and make sure that everything reflects their current wishes?
So a good general rule is that you should have your estate plan reviewed every 3 to 5 years. So that would mean going in and speaking with an estate planning or elder law attorney to help go through your documents to make sure that everything is still how you want it to be, make sure there hasn't been any law changes that might have affected your plan that you're unaware of, and just kind of talk through things.
Colin, we've known Justin for years now, and this is your first time on the show.
It is.
Why are you passionate about this area of law?
It's one of those things that it affects everyone, so death and taxes, right? Those are the two things, and those are two things that we deal with a lot. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to practice in an area of law that really affects everybody.
Well, and this